Let's do this. Finish the sentence. Love is
continuous.
continuous. That's really good. Vulnerability is,
Open.
what does it mean to you?
It means to not have a shield up, let your ego down, and let others in.
My heart goes out to,
My heart goes out to my children, my husband, my parents, my students, myself.
why is that? Why does your heart go out to them?
You have to be vulnerable in each of those situations, and you have to have love. So in order to do those things, your heart has to be in it.
Good. What's one thing that you are learning now that you wish you had learned when you were young or when you became a mother, or just in general?
Oh, how to persevere, how to push through.
Why was that so hard for you to do?
I don't know. I just gave up on things real easy. I don't know what was wrong with me. I wasn't focused. I think that's the one thing I probably didn't learn was focus. I didn't know how to trust in my own gifts. And I think that's something that I'm learning now is to trust in my own gifts, trust in the gifts that God blessed me with, and tune out everything around me. All the naysayers, all the people that's like, oh, that's not for you, or you're too this, or you're too that. To say, no, this is what God put on my heart to do, and I'm going to do it. Regardless of what you think or what you say, I'm going to get it done. And just to persevere, push through.
Good. Well, let's be vulnerable, okay? Since you like vulnerability, I like vulnerability, you like vulnerability. Let's be vulnerable. What's one thing that you thought you would never make it out of?
Oh.
And how did you get out of it?
Oh my God, that's endless. College. Ooh, that was hard. I think I stayed in college for several years. I started out in computers, then I got into nursing, and then I got into astronomy because of astrology. And then I ended up getting into a situation with a young man who was stalking me in college. And I called my mom and I was like, hey, Mom, I would like to come back home. So I left there, moved back to my hometown, started commuting back and forth from there to Columbus, and started at CVCC. Didn't have a major. It was just liberal arts. Graduated from CVCC and went on over to Troy. Started out in psychology. Then I ended up wanting to go into theater. So I moved to main campus in Troy, Alabama, majored in theater. Ended up conceiving my daughter. Had her, started back school, went into education, early childhood education, and I graduated with that degree. So I went through a lot of things. I didn't think I would ever get out of college. I was a professional student. Yeah. That
sounds really good.
It was very challenging.
Favorite book?
My favorite book is Who Moved My Cheese.
Who's that by?
By Spencer Johnson.
Yes. Why is that your favorite?
It's my favorite because it embodies the concept of moving when things get tough. In the
like
book,
perseverance, like you said.
Like perseverance. In the book, it turned mice into people, and they were very comfortable in their living situation until someone moved their cheese. And so the ones that had the ambition, they moved to try to find new cheese, while the other ones kind of delayed and basically starved to death because they didn't have the proper nutrients. And so it kind of teaches you to look around you, have discernment, and kind of see when your cheese has been moved. It's time to move on. So whether it's job, relationship, location, go to where your cheese is.
What was the hardest moment in your life?
Moment.
Besides going to college and thinking you would never get out of it, what was the hardest moment in your life?
Thus far, I would say that the hardest moment in my life was when I found out I was pregnant with my daughter. At that time, my father was very upset with me because I hadn't graduated college, was not married. Didn't really have no goals or ambitions. All I know is I was living and I was trying, but I didn't know where I was going. And me and her father, we were not in a great relationship. And so that left me in a place where I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was going through. Like, it was just like, wow, I'm in this situation. What do I do with it? My heart loved her. My mind considered abortion. But my heart and my relationship with God would not allow me to do that. I had already loved her way too much to even take that step. And so me and her father broke up sometime during the pregnancy, And the last part of it, I was kind of like winging it. And when I was in the hospital, her heart stopped while I was giving birth to her. Her heart stopped, and so they ended up having to do an emergency C-section. I ended up going into a panic attack. They had to strap me down, but everything worked out. She's 14 years old, and she's here. She's something.
And you say you and her father didn't have a good relationship.
It wasn't a strong relationship. We had a good friendship, but as far as the romantic side of it, that was pretty much non-existent at the time.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but we were really good friends.
Gotcha.
He's a good guy. I love him very dearly. You know, at this point, we are very good co-parents.
Yeah.
But at that time, I think we were both young and dumb, and he was doing his fraternity, and you know, I was.
What fraternity?
He is Sigma, a Sigma man.
And you're A.
AKA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, it was an interesting period in my life. Yeah.
And you thought that was the hardest part in your life?
Yeah, that was hard. Being a parent was scary for me. I remember bringing her home from the hospital, and I would just stare at her because I didn't know what to do with her. I'm like, I got a whole life right here with me. Like, what do I do with this thing? You know, and I think I went through postpartum depression. I was sad a lot. I was very angry at myself.
Did you ever think about suicide?
Not at that point in my life. That I think that came later. Once I don't know, life would just take you through some things, and you get overwhelmed, and you think about, you know, why am I here? What's my purpose here? You know, I don't really want to go through this. You know, let's try to do something different. And then the thoughts of suicide and, you know, not loving yourself, anxiety. I suffered from anxiety for a span of probably 4 years. I would wake up in the middle of the night in cold sweats and feeling like I couldn't breathe, calling 911 because I thought I was going to die, you know. That was in my previous marriage. And he wasn't a bad person, but it was overwhelming. Sometimes it was too much, you know. And so it was like, you know, let's just end this, you know. And I went into this dark place, and I could have sworn I started seeing like all kind of crazy stuff, like demons, and I didn't think God loved me. You know, I had made mistakes, you know, having a child out of wedlock. I felt like I was a disappointment to my parents. My marriage was failing. My finances were struggling. Life was just bad. You know, it was bad. And, you know, it was like, well, you know, my children will probably be better off without me. You know, why not do it?
Why didn't you?
I actually had a friend at the time, and his name was James, and I had a female friend named Nicole. And I remember sitting down on the side of my bed, and I was just weeping. I was crying out to God, and I didn't feel like God could hear me. And my cell phone was on my bed, and I heard it vibrate, and I was really thinking, like, I just do not want to be here. Like, this is hard, you know, and my heart was broken, and my heart was heavy. And I was like, I just do not want to be here anymore. And I remember my phone rung, and it was Nicole. And she was talking to me, and she just immediately started praying for me. And then James chimed in. He beeped in, and I clicked over, and he just automatically said, get out of that place. I already know you're in that place. Get out of that place. And I remember thinking, wow, God heard me. Because how would they have known to call me at that exact moment in time? Yeah. Yep.
You didn't know how to be a mother, basically. And well, tell me this: why didn't you learn from your mother, or what kind of mother was she? Like, did she prepare you, or did you feel like something? Because this is what I believe: no one grows up in this world saying, "I want to commit suicide. I'm going to be depressed." You know, so something had to happen at a young age. So what happened that you were missing that you didn't get?
I think I just always felt real lonely. Being an only child. My mother, she lost her father when I was 11 years old. I think that caused her to kind of, you know, go into a hurt place. She was a good mother, but I think that caused her to go into a hurt place. You know, I just felt alone a lot. I didn't want to be an only child. I wanted someone there with me.
Yeah.
Being in school, I was bullied. I didn't feel like anyone understood. Now, my mama was gangster. You know, my mama was gangster. Like, if I told her I was bullied, she would handle it. But a lot of times it would make the situation worse. You know, so, you know, I would get called anything from white girl to, you know, my mama was white, you know, it was just horrible. Boys didn't like me because I was skinny, you know. They just said real mean things, real hurtful things. You just felt unloved, unliked, you know, unaccepted.
So you felt lonely because you didn't have a brother or a sister.
Yeah, I didn't have someone that I could lean on.
Mm-hmm.
And where we grew up at, it wasn't my hometown.
Well, why didn't you lean on your mother?
Some things you just don't really tell your parents. You know, it's not really, it wasn't really her per se in that aspect. I just didn't know how to lean on her. You know what I mean? Like, this is my thing. You know, you don't want to burden someone else. And so a lot of stuff I just didn't tell her.
What do you want your legacy to be?
I just hope I inspire people. I hope that they can look at my story and see that no matter where you're from, because I'm from a very, very small town.
Where?
McRae, Georgia. My mother is from Willacoochee, Georgia. And my father was from McRae, Georgia. You know, no matter where you're from, if you keep moving, if you keep going, you'll get there. Even no matter your age, no matter your color, no matter what people have done to you. If you push through, you will make it. Trust God, trust God, trust God. And I just hope I inspire people to do that. Yep.
If you had one song that describes your life, what would that song be? Mine would be Dear God by Smokey Norfield.
Wow, I love Smokey.
I love him too. Don't you love him?
I played him while I was in labor.
We did?
Yeah, with Felicity.
My mother played Kenny G while she was in labor with me.
Wow.
And I can promise you that's why I love music now.
Yeah.
Not just one type of music. I like all music.
Yeah.
Except heavy metal. I can't get into heavy metal or rock. Well, when it's Queen, I like Queen. But,
yeah.
So yeah, what's one song that describes your life?
I would have to say Prince. I think it's called Beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah.
Prince.
If I had to choose one.
Beautiful.
Yep.
I like that song.
Yep.
What's the best piece of advice that you have given, and who did you give it to?
Oh wow, I don't know.
Best piece of advice you have
given,
and who did you give it to?
Oh wow. I give out so much advice. I'm a teacher. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Oh. I would probably have to say probably my daughter. You know, and I always tell her, you know, to follow your goals, not necessarily your dreams. You know, set goals, make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, your dreams can be fleeting.
Yeah.
You know, they can change, they can interchange, they can grow, they can lessen. But if you set goals and you master each one, your dreams will come true.
Yeah.
So I gotta say that's probably the best advice.
That's good.
That I've given.
Describe this word. Jesus is.
Ooh, Jesus is love. Jesus is real. And he's present all the time.
Good. Angel is.
Angel is fun. She is spiritual. She's grounded. She is spontaneous. Probably a little crazy. She's a teacher. Angel is, oh wow, she is a mediator, an inspirer, an advocate, an activist. You know, I believe in women's rights. You know, I think that women should be equal to men. I think that Black women should be equal to white women. I believe that the vagina should not be a taboo subject. I believe that sex should not be a taboo subject. I actually have an Instagram page focusing on that. I have a movement called Taboo. And with taboo, that's what I speak of. I speak to young girls about their bodies and puberty, and it's okay to feel things. People like to shut out sex. They like to say, "Oh, sex is dirty. Don't do that. That's nasty at an early age." So when they get older, they're shut off in that area. They are ashamed of what they're feeling and and longing for something that God put here to be natural. And that drives me crazy. When I see grown people ashamed of being sexual, that baffles me. It should be freedom. Sex should be freedom. It should be liberating. No matter your sexuality, you should never be ashamed of who you are. And I get into talks with religious people and they don't like that conversation with me. But I just don't see sex as being a bad thing.
It's very spiritual.
It's very spiritual. Yeah. But you have to take religion out of it in order to really enjoy it. I do not condone just going around
of course
bumping and grinding with everybody. I think that's just not safe.
Of course.
It's just not safe. But at the same time, if you are with someone and you guys as an adult decide to make a decision to be sexual, I think that that's okay, but
some people would disagree with what you just said. So what do you say to those people who disagree?
You just have to make your own choice and don't get mad at someone else for making their choice. I think that people should mind their own business. So if someone feels opposite of me or opposing to me, that's their decision.
Gotcha. So what do you know for sure? So if you ask me what I know for sure, I would definitely tell you what I know for sure is that life is not easy as a young adult. Right? But if you be consistent on what you are doing, I promise you, the money and the fame will come with it. You don't have to work for it. Right? And you should never feel like, honestly, you should never feel like you should work for anybody else. You should come to a point when people want to work for you. So what do you know for sure? What does Angel know for sure?
I know for sure that anything that you take away from God is going to fail. No matter your belief system, no matter how you try to angle it or dismiss it, there are many forms of God. And if you try to do everything on your own, you're going to get wore out, you're going to get tired, you're going to get exhausted, and you're going to give up. You have to have some form of God in order to be successful and be in your right state of mind. Because there's no reason to have success if you're crazy. And that's why you see a lot of people that get to a certain level and they get suicidal. They give up, or they go loony, or they could get on drugs, or they get divorced, or something tragic happens in their lives. You have to keep God first, or it's going to be fleeting. Yep.
Thank you.
You are.
It was good.
Nah.
That was good.